Before we get started with this episode, I just want to let you know I finished all the LOIs that I promised to do. I maybe have the energy for one or two tomorrow. Wait, it's today. It's 12:50 in the morning, so it's Monday. If you need me, it's $75 for me to do it. Just send me the Word document, letter of intent, CV, the 3 required, and the 3 elective rotations that you would be most interested in at your top site, and then what it is about them that you're so excited about, and then what it is in your own CV that would support your ability to do those aspects of the residency. Again, I want to support you, and I can fix it. Right now, I'm just at the point where I can only fix it. I can't take you through the process of writing. You just have to trust that somebody that has my experience doing over 100 letters of intent this season can make it such a way that it would come out as the top 10% of the letters of intent any site would get. All right, well, let's get on with the show. Welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I saw a post by Matthew McTaggart where he got a call from a friend who didn't match to a residency position in phase 1. They were top of their class, they had experience, references, the total package, and what went wrong. And what I've seen I've just gone over helping people with over 100 letters of intent this year, combining phase 1 and phase 2, is that there was this expectation when you went into pharmacy school, or there's this expectation when you are in pharmacy school, and what you're doing is you're competing in a local level, and you think that when you go to residency, you kind of have that mindset. In the back of your head, you say, yeah, I get it's national, but again, I'm kind of competing locally. But what we've seen this year, obviously with more residency applications than ever before, 500 more residency applications than just last year, 300 more rejections than last year, 1,000 more rejections than we had in 7 years ago, that the way that the approaches that students used in some cases really didn't work out. And what I want to do in this episode is talk to you about the things that could make it work out. So the first thing you want to do when you're looking at these residencies that you're applying to, sure, you want your dream ones and you want to go after those. But every single residency right now is a Mayo, or is a UNC, or is an Iowa, or is whatever competitive residency you're used to hearing. That's what it is. And most of you are like, okay, well, this is a really desirable one. And everyone around the country is doing the same thing. What I'm saying is that you should mitigate your risk if you truly want a residency, and start looking and saying, what is an undervalued residency? Where is somewhere that I can get a great education, work with great people, but people probably won't think about it in the same way? So one of the most popular residencies to apply to is the academic medical center. I can't tell you how many of the 100 or so LOIs that I helped with had, I want to work in an academic medical center and be faculty in a school of pharmacy. I'm not saying it's a bad decision, it's not a bad dream. I'm just saying that when you look to that dream, that's a dream a lot of people have. And that's a path that people are most comfortable with. But what I'm saying is, what are the other paths to get there as well? Is it possible that you could go to a community hospital and get a similar experience? Is there a community hospital or even rural hospital that has experiences, maybe not the exact same as the academic medical center, but that could also be one that you want? Again, the match favors the applicant. But if you limit yourself to a small geographic area, that is probably the toughest thing, and where I'm seeing the most rejections. I guess there's no other word for it. When you narrow yourself so much in terms of location, it creates a sense of, okay, well, how can I kind of make myself fit? And the residency process is meant to say, no, who really fits? And so now, as we're looking at this phase 2, what you want to be able to do is say, okay, where do I really fit in the top ones? Okay, where's maybe a middle tier that I'm like, well, this is probably an undervalued one. I wouldn't have looked at it first. Maybe other people aren't looking at it first. And then what's that one or two spots that, probably no one's going to appreciate what this has, but for me, because of my interest, this actually is a really, really big thing. Some of the ways that this can happen is there's going to be some states that have significantly more ability for a pharmacist to do something. The VA is a more obvious one where your license doesn't matter what state you get it in. But what you can do is start to look and say, okay, well, I can see that this isn't a pediatric hospital, but it looks like there's 2 pediatric electives. 10 weeks of pediatrics is a pretty good deal even if I want to go on to PGY2. Okay, well, I want to do internal medicine, and while this may not be as well known a hospital, I see that they have 2 internal medicine required rotations and then an elective that I can get in. Okay, I want AmCare, and while it is a required elective, it's not an ambulatory care focus, but I can make it an ambulatory care focus. So what I'm saying is, what you should be looking for to mitigate your risk, and this is only for those that absolutely want to do a residency. If you are, it's either this location or bust, this advice is not going to help you. But in terms of where you want to apply, I'm telling you, there are so many people applying to the exact same sites. If you say, wow, this is really a great site, there are thousands literally that are saying, wow, that's really a great site. But what they're missing is, okay, well, let's say I wanted to find the site that probably nobody is thinking of. Which site would that be? And it changes for everyone. I'm not going to go through the list, but I know for me, I would want some kind of community-focused, business-focused, kind of managed care type of experience, which doesn't match what most of you want, which is some kind of hospital residency where you're going to be in an academic medical center. So anyway, my best advice to you is to take the ones that you want and then spend the day tomorrow digging and digging and digging. Where is somewhere that I can probably apply that I really match well to, that is, the experiences I had in APPE matched their required, and especially required rotations, to some extent elective rotations, but where do those things match? And then where do I match in such a place that people are probably going to overlook it? Maybe it's in a state that's less desirable. Maybe it's not on the coast, and there are just more people on the coast to apply. Well, Chicago is kind of the big place in the middle that counts as much, and things like that. So again, my best advice is you are looking for the undetected super residency experiences that you can have at places that may not get the same kind of publicity that the ones that are getting all these applications. Every place is going to get a lot of applications. Your goal is to make sure to get 3 places where your credentials, your APP experiences match almost perfectly to theirs. And it's so important that you not use a generic letter of intent. Sending 24 generic letters of intent is worse than sending 3 heartfelt, good match letters of intent. Again, I wish you the best in this phase 2 process. I know it's tough. I know you've had to recover from a loss on Friday. You've done your best to kind of get these LOIs done and get your new materials uploaded on Saturday, calling people for recommendations and things like that. But tomorrow, I ask you, beg you to look for those hidden sites that might be a great place to match. Hey, thanks again for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast. I do encourage you to go to residencyhelp.com, get on the mailing list. I'll send you out an email every Friday during residency season, but then afterwards, I'll still have a number of episodes on helping you get through residency itself. And then if you're somebody that's looking at residency in the future, I'll also have content for that as well. If you have a question, I'm pretty good about getting back to you. And if I don't have an answer, I will know someone that does. So thanks again for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please do rate and review. It really matters in terms of our ability to reach more people. Thanks again.